we're taking a bit of a detour away from the traditional body cam and doing more of like a true crime beat with a fresh one, well, fresh within the last month from Explore With Us, EWU, if you will. They have a body cam channel, but this is more of their true crime beat. And I'm excited because, I mean, this one cooks, dude. 7.5 million views. It's called Cops Make Horrific Discovery in Woman's Soup Pot. I think it's going to be fun. We're just going to sit back, relax, sip a couple of fingers of whiskey, and enjoy some true crime and see what up things are going on in other parts of the world. Let's get into it.
I may be just totally off my rocker, but I was just out walking my dog, and I came across some bones that looked to me to be human.
He had been dismembered.
Oh, my God.
Okay. And I like I said, there was apparent saw marks, okay?
What marks?
Saw marks.
Saw.
When
Saw
a human
marks.
spine is discovered by a woman walking her dog in Mercer County in January 2016, it launches an investigation that will take years to unravel.
Can I just say real quick that dog walkers are, sorry, infamously the most pesky people to try and get away with murder in front of. Like everybody I know that's good at getting away with murder always gets bagged by a dog walker. For instance, there was a case not 2 weeks ago in my town, not in my town, like a couple towns over from me, where a dude that my wife knows was walking his dog behind a Walmart and found 2 bodies. And he immediately posted to Facebook about it before the cops even came. That's a whole nother story. Insane behavior. But ended up there was like some homeless vagrants that came up from like Atlanta, and he like killed some of his homeless buddies and stabbed them and dumped them behind a Walmart, walking the dog. Dude was probably cool, could have like made his way back down to Atlanta, but nope, dog walker gets him every time. Thanks for playing Get Wrecked.
With a bone-chilling confession, investigators are left questioning the truth behind their victim's unimaginably gruesome demise, and they will soon find themselves with another body on their hands before the case is over. The following report is based on official police records, and most of the footage has never been seen until now. Following the 911 call from the concerned dog walker, police discovered a skeletal human spine hidden among the frozen brush in a fairly remote area in Mercer County.
Yikes.
Though they conducted a thorough search of the area, no other remains were found.
Just a spine.
This left investigators
Curious.
with 2 main questions. Who was their victim, and where were the missing body parts? Despite a DNA's, the identity of the bloated to NamUs, a police database for missing persons cases, the identity of the victim remained unknown.
That's it.
That all changed in 2020 when a
What is it? It's like it's teeth. Like if you find remains, it's really just teeth, dental records that can figure it out. So if you just dump someone, they decompose and take their teeth out, you're cooked, right? But yeah, I guess we're gonna.
A Bureau of Criminal Investigation agent working on cold cases connected the profile of a missing persons case in Columbus, Ohio, with the timeline of when the skeletal spine was discovered. 21-year-old Ryan Zimmerman was reported missing at the end of November 2015, just 2 months before the 911 call. Ryan had last been heard from a month prior in September. After contacting Ryan's parents and conducting a DNA test, investigators were able to confirm that the partial skeleton belonged to Ryan. They spoke to Ryan's father, Warren, over the phone.
Your son did, it was obvious that there was foul play involved, okay?
Right.
There was some remains that we were not able to locate, okay? So it was also discovered that he had been dismembered.
Oh, my God.
Okay, and I like I said, I'm sorry to tell you that over the phone. We did not find portions of him being the lower portions of the legs, the lower portions of the arms, or the skull.
Oh, my gosh. So, okay.
The location of Ryan's skull was like something out of a horror movie, but that wouldn't be revealed until much later. Even worse than discovering that Ryan had died were the details investigators shared with Warren about Ryan's remains.
There was apparent saw marks, okay?
Yeah, I mean,
Saw marks.
Saw.
typically how you dismember
When he
someone.
was found, it was basically skeletal remains.
Man, what does it sound like? Gangland or some kind of sick trafficking or what the hell? I mean, who would do something like that?
Those are all questions that we are hoping to work to try to get some answers for Ryan and for your family, okay?
Police were able to track down the 3 people living with Ryan in Columbus before Ryan's disappearance: Cory Buzzard, Sarah Buzzard, and Nyra Jenn Whitaker. On August...
All right, I'm just saying, right out of the gates,
Cory Buzzard, Sarah Buzzard, and Nyra...
and not just because Sarah Buzzard was in the thumbnail, one of these motherfuckers is guilty as shit, okay? I don't know where this is going. I know nothing about this case at all. Cory's picture's looking a little sus, too. Like, what are we doing here? A little fog on the camera glass? Or no, that's just maybe that's the EWU body cam. Maybe she's a minor. I don't know. I do love the EWU body cam, like the double watermark. Like there's the faded, overlay watermark, and then the moving kind of like DVD, will it hit the corner of the screen symbol watermark as well? Which, God bless them. I mean, these guys might bang your videos. I always try to give as much credit as I can to people. And, it's been out for a month. They get 7.5 million views.
Jenn Whitaker.
It's time for me to watch.
On August 25th, 2021, officers had to find Sarah and Jenn, who are now married. After moving out of the apartment they shared with Cory and Ryan, they now live at Sarah's mother's house. What will unfold shortly is a twisted and unpredictable case, one that is far more disturbing than anyone anticipated.
I'm ready for it, dude. Like, they must have been interviewed multiple times when he disappeared, obviously.
It takes a few minutes, but eventually Sarah answers the door.
Hello, police department. Looking for Sarah.
That's me.
Come step out for me. All right, sorry I had to wake you.
No, sorry. Can I do for you?
Well, I think you got a warrant.
Warrant?
Uh-huh.
What?
It's out of Ohio, I think. It's a theft warrant, I believe.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
All right, so we have to take care of it. 002, I've got her out front. All right, so go ahead and turn around, put your hands behind your back for me.
Though he doesn't know it just yet, the officer asks Sarah a question that will foreshadow a devastating series of events.
I don't want to sound nervous, but do you have any weapons or anything in the house upstairs that I need to worry about? Just don't. I mean, I don't want them coming out with a gun or anything like that. A theft charge.
Sarah informs the officers that her mother and Jenn are inside the home, and they soon join her on the porch.
Just a little bit. Okay, so what's going on?
Well, we got to take her downtown. I got to look at exactly.
Just trying to figure, like, Filipino, maybe? What are we? Sarah's maybe like half something? Can't quite put my finger on it, but...
what the warrant is for. And then we'll go from there so I can... It's through Ohio, so they sent us over here, so others sent the warrant over here. We get them from out of state all the time.
You know what I mean? That was in my daughter's zip. We never that kind of person. But if there's something missing over there, I mean just
Take some deep breaths, Sarah.
Yeah, when she move it.
While the officer dances around their questions regarding Sarah's arrest, Sarah's disposition begins to take a turn.
You been sick?
We just woke up, sorry.
Okay. Have you been sick or?
No, just shocked.
Oh, okay.
Despite looking like she might pass out, it's decided that Sarah can travel to the police station.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, I'm going to hold your arm so you don't fall over, okay?
Once at the police station and in an interrogation room,
You wonder if, like, the crushing weight of the realization that maybe her entire life and the fact that she got away with a gruesome murder for several years was now starting to unravel, or just at the beginning of it. I can only imagine the amount of guilt. Unless you're a true sociopath and you're unable to, like, feel empathy and guilt, like, to carry something like that. And I don't know anything about the circumstances. I don't even know this bitch is guilty. I need to shut up, all right? I don't know shit. Maybe she's not even involved. I saw she's in the thumbnail. I have this kind of, like, bias in my head that she did some real sneaky stuff, some real bad sneaky stuff, and we're about to find out.
Sarah is told that detectives from Ohio want to speak with her.
Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
I'm Megan Baker. I'm with the Sheriff's Office in Ohio.
I'm Rick Ward.
Hello.
Hello, Sarah.
Well, I'm assuming you have lots of questions.
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
We're going to take some time and sit down with you here, and maybe we can get some answers for those questions for you, if that's okay.
Sarah has read her Miranda rights and agrees to speak with the detectives.
So this is about theft?
They immediately dive into questioning, beginning with her time in Columbus almost 6 years ago. Sarah explains that she lived with her then-husband, Cory Buzzard.
Oh, it was...
While married to Cory, Sarah had also started dating Jenn, who was transgender. Eventually, as her relationship with Sarah progressed, Jenn moved in with Cory and Sarah. A few months later, they got another roommate, someone named Emma.
Bro.
And that's a little bit about why
Classic
we're here.
polycule.
Is talk about Emma, also known as Ryan Zimmerman. He went missing. Are you familiar with any of that?
Got it.
Okay.
Emma
so
was also...
Tell me what you know about Ryan. Or Emma, if you know him as Emma. Okay.
According to Sarah and Jenn, Ryan was newly transitioning, which is why they knew Ryan by the name Emma. However, this claim hasn't been substantiated or verified by any members of Ryan's
getting
family.
a little crazy.
It's a little bit of a touchy subject. My husband at the time had sexual interests. They had talked online extensively, and he had invited them to come stay with us, which I did not want to happen, but...
Boom. Case closed. Classic case of a lover's quarrel, a little bit of jealousy. Polycule gets a little bit too filled up. Your maybe transgender husband starts, getting the hots for newly transitioning Cory/Emma, and bing, bang, boom, one thing leads to another. They're sawing off their limbs in a bathtub and dumping them in the woods. You just hate to see it. You really do.
Long story short, it did.
After Sarah and her partner Jenn move into the house with her and Cory, Cory decided to meet someone and reached out to Ryan online. After speaking for a short period, Ryan moved into the Columbus apartment as well. At the same time that Sarah is in interrogation at Sarah's mother's house, Jenn is also being approached by detectives. However, Jenn is a little more hesitant to speak with them. What seems like it may be a simple conversation about Sarah's apparent arrest for theft will soon have a nightmarish outcome.
Please. Okay, we have a search warrant for the residence too.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so we're not stepping outside. We're working a missing persons case from Ohio. The Ohio Attorney General's office has a task force with missing persons.
Yeah, so I was wondering, they're talking about this theft charge for Sarah Buzzard, but you're not getting warrants for cert. They're clearly working the case and maybe using the theft charge as kind of like the leverage to, to approach, but the fact that they have a search warrant for Jen's house leads me to believe they're just using this theft thing as a cover, and they're really trying to dig deeper into this case that they reopened. I'm not sure the context. It seems like it was an older case that, I don't know.
Okay. And Ryan Zimmerman.
Or maybe this is footage from 2016.
Ryan Zimmerman lived with you guys in Columbus in 2015.
Who?
With you and Sarah and Cory, September 2015, right? And he's missing. And you guys were the last people to see him.
After clarifying that Ryan also went by the name Emma, or M, Jenn remembers briefly living with Ryan. The investigators will often switch between referring to Ryan as Ryan and as M or Emma. After only living with Cory, Sarah, and Jenn for 2 months, Ryan was asked to leave. Sarah claims that Ryan and Cory's relationship ended, and Ryan never found a job, which was part of her agreement to allow Ryan to stay in the apartment. Because of this, Cory told Ryan to leave, and Ryan planned to leave on September 25th. This timeline correlates with the last time anyone heard from Ryan.
I know that they had tried to plead with me to give them another chance, but I said that I'd already given too many chances, and that...
It's gonna hit her face. Gonna hit her. Yeah, it hit her face. It's hitting her face.
Cory's call, ultimately.
It's on her head.
And I remember them packing, and either I went to the store, I was in a different room, I don't remember.
Oops a daisy. Although I won't be drunk by the end of this.
Who was all home at that time?
I was, Cory was not, and then my girlfriend was over, so we might have been in the living room. I honestly, I don't remember.
Okay.
I just know that 1 minute Emma was there, and then the next he had just left.
Okay. Did you see him leave? Pull away in a vehicle or something?
Somebody pulled up and he got in the car and drove off. I thought that he might come back because he did leave his car, but he didn't. come back, and then we didn't hear from him again.
There will eventually be troubling
Curious.
discrepancies in Sarah and Jen's stories. The detectives at Sarah's mother's house asked Jenn a follow-up question about Ryan's vehicle.
What kind of car did he have? Did you ever ride in the car? Yeah. You were never in his car? Okay.
Had you ever driven it?
Yes.
Okay, to the store or something, or when did you drive it?
To a gas station. I couldn't get it to start again, so I had to call a tow company to.
A 2002 Toyota Yaris.
Embarrassed about it because I didn't really have permission to drive it.
So did you drive it while he was still living there?
No, this was after he'd left.
Oh, okay. Were you by yourself during this?
My girlfriend was with me.
Unknowingly, Sarah has just unraveled one of the mysteries behind Ryan's disappearance. Warren, Ryan's father, had been alerted that something was wrong when Ryan's vehicle was found abandoned. Though the license plate was missing, police found some of Ryan's belongings inside the vehicle, along with the keys and a full tank of gas. Warren had taken it upon himself to knock on neighbors' doors to see if they remembered anything useful about the car or Ryan's disappearance. To his surprise, someone did. One of the neighbors said they saw the car get dropped off by a tow truck near the apartments where Ryan was staying with Cory, Sarah, and Jenn.
And about a half hour later, the Columbus Police Department came and wrote the ticket up and had the vehicle towed. I'm thinking, why would somebody, it was like they wanted it to get picked up.
Sarah claimed that she thought the vehicle had vanished because Ryan had returned and took it. What she doesn't add, not yet at least, is that there's an unsettling reason she'd been using Ryan's vehicle that day. Before moving on, the detectives returned to the question of Ryan's behavior before leaving the apartment. Jenn reluctantly gives the detectives some background information about the living situation before Ryan left, claiming Ryan was usually in the spare bedroom and was reclusive.
Was Ryan becoming part of the sex polycule as well? I feel like this is like one of those videos from Barcroft TV where it's like, I have 4 husbands, or for fuck's sake with the cameras. I used to react to these videos. They were very popular with my wife even. It was like one woman had like 4 dudes she was banging, and they all kind of look exactly like this. Like they all look the same, this very like amoebic, just like type of a person, You just, you hear her, they're like, oh, you're like, yeah, that's exactly how I think he'd look. And it never ends up well. Like the one I watched years ago, like one of the dudes ended up beating the 2-year-old that was the dog. Like, I just don't, like, these people just aren't well, clearly. And if Ryan's trying to get in on that action, there's going to be a lot of jealousy. And that jealousy could lead to dismemberment. I'm speculating.
Jenn believed that Cory regretted asking Ryan to move in with them.
It was kind of weird.
I guess how weird? Like, was she just kind of clingy?
That's the thing, too. No, Em was so... okay, I have pretty bad social anxiety.
Of course you do.
But Em seemed to have way worse social anxiety.
Okay.
That is their favorite thing.
I guess how was Em's behavior then?
Excessively shy.
Okay.
Jenn also explains the reason for some of the tension with Ryan.
Sorry, it's just the anxiety.
Sure.
I don't like to admit that I am trans, but it was just weird. Cory brought another trans person into the house because that's what they wanted. They had, I shouldn't use gender neutral for Cory because that's confusing. Cory had papers written up about, I forget what he calls it, like the trifecta or perfect relationship, but it involved one man, one woman, and a trans woman.
That honestly does sound like the perfect relationship. I'm getting a little tired of traditional male-female monogamy. I want one man, one woman, and one man that thinks he's a woman. And now you've reached the perfect polycule triangle. The sex is incredible, okay? The jealousy creates very hot. That's why the sex is incredible, because there's a lot of jealousy there. And then the dismemberment is even better.
Okay.
And I didn't want any part of that.
Sure.
I'm assuming that's why they brought Em in.
I think Ryan was just kind of the last straw for me.
Tell me more about that. Why was he the last straw?
That was probably one of the biggest arguments that we had, to make him that third person. But I obviously didn't agree with that, and the entire time it made me feel like I wasn't good enough.
After Ryan apparently moved out of the apartment, Sarah and Cory divorced, and she married Jenn soon after. The detectives take a break, and when they return, they will confront Sarah with the awful truth of why they are really there.
Oh, it's not about theft, is it?
There's some more water.
I knew it! She's not even like, what did I steal? They're like, we don't know. We're just saying that, but really we think you killed
Sarah,
this dude.
I don't know if you know this or not, probably not, but you're talking to Jennifer right now, talking to your mom, and also talking to Cory. And there's major inconsistencies about this with your involvement with Ryan. And you know Ryan is now deceased.
He is?
He's been murdered. So we have Cory is talking to the Columbus
No
police.
way.
Detectives right now, we just get off the phone with them.
The detective isn't being entirely honest here. While officers have managed to track down Cory's new residence, Cory is proving less than enthusiastic about the prospect of speaking with officers.
You're not in any trouble. I don't have an arrest warrant, nothing like that, Cory. Okay, we just want to talk with you because your name was brought up as a witness in a case I'm working. A homicide.
Homicide?
A homicide.
I don't recall witnessing any homicides.
Okay, we're just wanting to talk. That's it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I haven't lied to you at all, Cory. Okay? It's about Ryan.
I don't know who Ryan is.
Ryan lived with you for a while.
Oh, you don't?
Emma. He also went by Emma.
Okay.
He was a roommate for a while.
Okay.
Okay. That's what we're here to talk to you about.
Not without counsel.
Okay.
There
Do
you
have
go.
An attorney?
First person that has more than 3 brain cells. Fucking congratulations. Emma's like, oh, they got me on thievery. I'm a little lightheaded and my anxiety. But yeah, let's go to the station and let's have a chat. Nah, definitely. Sounds good. Maybe, I'm sorry, not Emma. That was Sarah Buzzard. And then Jenn also spilling her guts without counsel. Cory's lucky that he divorced and got out of there. You know, I feel like if I'm taking bets here, if I'm a Vegas line, I'm thinking Cory, he's not involved. I could be totally wrong. I have no idea how this case goes. I'm thinking Cory kind of washed his hands of it, got out of there before shit got too crazy, and it's kind of like a Sarah and Jenn thing. Who was the fourth one? Oh yeah, and Ryan died.
You on hand?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think they would meet us down there?
Blur equals innocent.
Can we
Okay.
make an appointment?
There you go. Smart.
I'd rather get this done today.
Smart.
I
All right.
don't really
I didn't know
think I
that.
have to work on your time.
Should've.
While the officers speaking with Cory have once again hit a dead end, those with Sarah begin to lay out some of the evidence.
I mean, this is a bad situation. We really need to know what happened. With the car, we have DNA evidence. We're able to track down your car, the one that you used to own, the time of this incident. We were able to track down the current owner.
She's gonna
We were able
fold
to
like a
examine it.
paper airplane,
So we have
isn't she?
something happened in that apartment the weekend that you dropped Cory off with that girl in Columbus.
The evidence the detective is referring to are reddish stains discovered on the carpet liner of Sarah's vehicle.
Oh no.
Though she'd sold it, they found the new owners in July 2021 and conducted tests inside the trunk.
DNA?
The stains produced presumptive positive results for suspected blood. Earlier, Sarah had claimed that Cory hadn't been home the weekend Ryan moved out because Cory was with another woman. In fact, Sarah had been the one to drive Cory and the woman to a hotel. Investigators spoke with the woman and confirmed that Cory was nowhere near the apartment where Ryan was last seen. While Cory may still prove to be an important witness to the events leading to Ryan's death, Sarah and Jenn appear to be the last known people to see Ryan.
So please just tell me the truth, what happened. Cory's given a whole nother version of what you just said.
Your ex-husband, mind you.
Please, just
Of course
tell
he
me
would.
the truth.
Bastard.
I'm not comfortable talking about
Well,
this.
we have a young...
Was it an accident?
Yeah.
I love this, dude. They're like, she hasn't asked for a lawyer. Like, let's just try and milk it out of her. Let's milk that udder. Get as much as we can until she lawyers up. She's idiot, dude.
I don't know what was an accident.
With Ryan.
I didn't even know that he was dead.
Oh.
Sarah, come on. Sarah, please.
Someone that I can talk to?
Well, you can talk to us.
You sure can.
I just want the truth.
The other officers also confront Jenn with the news of Ryan's death.
We're trying to find Emma, and we were somewhat successful in that.
Okay. Wait, what? Somewhat?
Mm-hmm.
What leads?
That's we need you to fill in the gaps, because whatever happened to Emma happened in the apartment.
There's a lot of names to keep track of, dude. If not for anything, I mean, we just get our story straight here. Is it Ryan? Is it Emma? What are we doing? Rema? It's tough. It's hard enough to keep track of this 4-person trans polycule, but now we're calling everyone by both names, dude. Can we just fucking tone it down a little bit? I'm old. My brain can't keep up with this shit. 4 people. Yeah, 4 people.
And we've recovered evidence from the apartment. We recovered evidence from Sarah's car.
Right.
Blood.
Wait, whoa, what?
Mm-hmm. Blood from the trunk of the car. Blood from the apartment by the bathtub.
Oh, whoa.
Where in part of Emma's body was discovered it was dismembered.
Even though they'd all moved out by early 2016.
All right, so the cops are dropping like hot evidence now, you know. They came in with theft like a couple hours ago, and now we're like, yeah, we got the car that you sold. Yeah, blood in the trunk, blood in the bathroom of your old apartment. Your ex-husband wasn't around, but you two were the last people to be seen with him. There's like blood all over you still currently right now. I could actually see his blood on you. Years later, shit's about to just get nasty. It's about to spill. They're about to open up like Niagara Falls here in a moment.
Investigators were able to access the apartment where Sarah, Jenn, Cory, and Ryan had once lived. In July 2021, a month before they spoke with Jenn and Sarah, authorities visited the apartment and asked the current residents to leave while they conducted tests throughout the building.
Wait, why is that?
Under close examination, several areas in the bathroom reacted to a chemical reagent indicating latent blood residue, including the bathroom floor and the cabinet.
No way. No way she had anything to do with any of that.
She did.
No, there's no way.
Tell me why. The Google searches, the deep dives that we did,
not
the stuff
the
that
Google
she
searches.
was into at least, right? Painting with blood, like into drinking the blood, and then the searches that she did on her Android phone.
I don't know. I don't know about any of the blood stuff.
While this comment about painting with blood will be...
That was literally the villain from the recent reboot of Daredevil. He was like a serial killer that painted beautiful murals with people's blood. So did they base that shit off of this case? I don't know. I'll never know that. But I just thought that was like some crazy Marvel shit they did. And instead it's, I guess, what the fuck?
Investigators won't have the chance to ask Sarah about it just yet, because she immediately throws a wrench into their plans.
Lawyered up?
Sarah Lloyd, right?
There she goes. Yeah.
That was my right.
There you go.
Well, that's your decision. We don't advise on that. But all we're asking is for the truth.
I don't know what to say.
I love that guy. He's like, please don't ask for a lawyer.
The truth, maybe?
I've said what I remember.
And you're telling me that's the truth.
That's what I remember.
This is going to be your only time to talk to me and Megan.
Probably not true.
After this, we're not allowed to help. So.
What happens to me after this?
You're going to be booked in the local county jail here. I mean, we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't have physical evidence. That's why I was giving you an opportunity. Okay. All right, Sarah.
The buzz.
Thank you.
Once again, the detectives leave Sarah alone. In contrast, those speaking with Jenn lay on the pressure.
Send it.
This is a fever dream.
I'm sorry?
This is a fever dream.
It is not.
I know this feels like a nightmare now, so we need you to fill in the other parts of this thing, because this isn't a nightmare.
Emma's dead.
Emma's dead?
Emma's dead.
Cory's dead?
No.
No, Emma's dead.
Okay.
Did Cory have you guys get rid of his issue? Like Emma coming up, Emma's not what he expected. The selfies didn't show what Cory had wanted. Comes up, Emma's completely shy, reclusive, nothing what Cory expected. Cory went away for the weekend for you and Sarah to get rid of his problem. Cory and Sarah were fighting a lot over it. Let's just get rid of the problem. So what happened?
It isn't long before the detectives decide to once again try speaking with Sarah, and this time they will hear a stomach-churning confession.
There we go. I love Officer Becky just trying to formulate the story. She's getting it. You know, Cory didn't like that you guys were getting a little comfortable around each other. Just get rid of the problem. Nah, not quite. It was a valiant effort. It was a valiant effort, but Jen's not biting. Sounds like Sarah's about to fucking spill the tea, though.
So, Megan here has something she wants to show you.
I just have something I need to take a look at, okay? And read over, and we'll get your thoughts on that. This is from your Google account. Okay, these are your searches on your Google account that you said you weren't had access.
I'm sorry, dude. There's nothing I love more than investigators dropping the fucking Google search bomb on people's faces. It's like, yeah, so we've been kind of keeping this one in our back pocket just to see how much you tell us, but you've literally been searching for days about how to get away with murder, how to dismember a body, how to drain someone's blood from their jugular vein. Every time. There was a guy that murdered his wife on New Year's Eve in a town near me, about an hour south of where I live. This is maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And there's footage of the courtroom hearing where there was a prosecutor who's up there reading like 10:45. How long does it take for a body to start to smell? 10:50. How do I get rid of a body? 11:15. How long does it take for a body to decay? 11:33. How to get away with murder. They spent like fucking 15 minutes just reading his Google searches. And it absolutely kills me every time because these people are so stupid. They don't know everything you do is being tracked. Everything. They know your exact location at every second of the day at all times. They know everything you say. They know everything you think. They know what your shopping preferences are. They know what type of music you're into. They know every single Google search you've ever made. Nothing that you do is not being tracked somewhere on some cloud. You can't get away with shit. You just can't. Like CSI.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Shut the up! They even talk back to you when you're trying to talk to the stream chat! You! This is what happens when I drink whiskey without ice. I'm telling you, this is what happens when I drink. Sorry, I saw they're laying out the Google searches and I get so excited. I love it. What do we got here? We got Cory and Sarah Buzzard rent apartment. Cory Buzzard hotel. Oh, these are Cory searches. Hotel reservation with Sarah Buzzard searches jugular vein. How to start a Ford Focus multiple times. Well, these don't look too bad yet.
So flip through these pages.
Yeah, look through them for
and
us.
take a gander at that.
After seeing the evidence within her own search history, showing that she looked up how to start Ryan's car after it broke down, Sarah begins to unravel.
What's gonna happen to my family?
Uh-oh.
We'll talk to your family, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And you'll get to talk to your
They
family,
got her.
okay?
She's done. She's cooked. Put a fork in her.
We can work through this.
Christmas goose.
One thing at a time.
Well
this
done.
This is the first step.
Once the Google searches come out, you know you're cooked. You know what I'm saying? She's ready to be the centerpiece at Christmas dinner. Like, it's all over. That's probably like only a little percentage of the Google searches too.
Okay, look at me. I'm scared.
You should
I
be.
understand you're scared. Okay? All I've ever gotten was a speeding ticket. And you're an honest person. Okay? I don't think you're a bad person at all.
Sarah, let us help you.
Go ahead and start from the beginning, okay?
It was an accident.
Okay. It was an accident. Accidents happen every day. So what happened?
I was angry.
Okay, I get angry too.
Not a good way for an accident to happen. Start, rather.
I knocked him down when he came out of the bathroom. And I choked him. And then I didn't know what to do. I've never done anything like that. And I got scared. I didn't know what to do.
You were scared.
I realized I ruined my life.
While the detectives speaking with Sarah have finally made some headway, those with Jenn are hitting roadblock after roadblock.
Go with you. I think it's been eating you up. Is it eating Sarah up? I mean,
Yes.
people can have
Yes, it
differences
is.
with people, right? But to this extent, you know, it would eat somebody up, literally. I mean, you would be not sleeping well, not functioning well. You know, it's a lot.
I mean, in fairness, that's exactly what I would expect the apartment of these types of people to look like, regardless of whether they've murdered someone or not. They're generally just very dirty, unwell, and disorganized. Polycule types.
Right?
No, yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
But no, I wasn't aware of that. I've been living fine.
Okay, so maybe
Things were fine.
things are fine until Emma came along, and then things weren't fine.
No, if you want to go back to that, no. But even then, no. But things have been fine. There was no murder weighing on us.
While Jenn continues denying any knowledge, Sarah is telling a very different story.
I put him in a chokehold and knocked him down.
Did he pass out? Were there words exchanged?
He passed out.
Okay.
And I didn't let go.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was too late. He stopped moving. He started turning white. And I couldn't go near him.
Though this is the first time Sarah has shared what happened to Ryan, this is only one version of the story.
I have to say this, and maybe this is a little off color, but like if you're a dude and you get choked to death by a woman, you're definitely on estrogen on estrogen. I'm just saying, like, there's not just a hierarchy of evolution. I just don't, most of the time, like, you'd be able to get out of that, I think, right? Ooh, I was mad, I knocked him down, I choked him, like, okay, thanks for playing. Like, if my wife tried to kill me, she wouldn't be able to unless she had a weapon. It's just the way it is, you know? But here's the deal. Emma was newly transitioning, so maybe we took all the testosterone out of the body, and then you get killed by a Sarah Buzzard. And like, this is what happens, you know? These are the roadblocks you run into, and you just hate to see it.
And with each retelling, the details of...
Just take you should have just taken more testosterone and gotten jacked and tan and grown a mullet and worn pit vipers, and you never would have gotten killed by Sarah Buzzard. Impossible. You would have bench pressed her off you through the ceiling. Absolutely nothing she would have been able to do. And instead, your spine's lying in a floor somewhere. It's insane. I'm not trying to be insensitive. I just...
only grow more and
One
more
thing leads to
unsettling.
another, you know?
Sarah claims that Jenn heard the commotion from downstairs and came up to see what had happened.
I had to figure out how to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. So what happened?
And we cut it up.
Oh, my...
And we cut it up.
Just went right from, oops, I killed someone, to
Leaving you
just
and Jenn?
dismembering someone.
Was this when Cory was away at the hotel? Okay. So where did you cut him up at? Bathtub. What did you use?
Some kind of salt.
Where did that come from?
That's crazy, dude.
I found it in the shed.
You must be so
So you
disassociated.
have your own shed there. Okay. Who did the cutting?
Mostly me.
Jenn, on the other hand, refuses to make any concessions.
I just don't remember.
Yeah, you do.
No.
Here's the thing. You're going to remember these things.
Yeah, I would probably remember if there was murder and a saw.
And where did you cut him at?
She's a little better at this than
Again, this is all
Sarah.
stuff I already know. Okay, I just need to hear it straight from you.
The joints.
Joints? Can you point to I guess what you mean by joints? The elbows.
The wrists, ankles,
Mm-hmm.
knees.
And then up here?
Mm-hmm.
On the neck. Okay. Does Jenn help cut him up?
Not really. She wasn't feeling well. She got kind of sick.
Okay.
So I took over most of it.
But did she help a little bit at the beginning? Okay.
We were both really scared.
One of the officers and
She got a little bit sick, like typical non-sociopathic people might when you're cutting up a freshly murdered body.
This interview steps out of the room to take a call, and when they return, they have news that will flip Jenn's denials upside down.
Got an update.
Okay.
Sarah just admitted to everything, and you helped dismember the body. She admitted to all of it.
Okay.
So fill us in with what's going on, right? With the car, you're going to remember everything. So at this point, Sarah...
Yo, the Super Pad Pro in the back seat, dude? Let's go. Is that like an old school... Is that like a Dreamcast controller? What the fuck even is that? Or maybe that's just like a MIDI controller or like a USB controller for something. Sorry. I don't know.
On the beans. On the whole kit and caboodle.
Okay.
GameCube, okay.
This is what we told you before. We knew where we were at. So this amnesia that you have isn't going to work because now you're implicated in this as well.
I don't have amnesia.
Then fill it in. Fill it in.
I didn't do that.
I just got the phone call from the analyst that's listening in on the interview, and she's coming clean, right? They're watching it live.
Okay.
She's coming clean, and you helped dismember the body with her. Yeah.
Sarah's not going to be able to do this by herself.
Yeah.
And if she said that, then she's lying.
You just said before Sarah wouldn't lie. She's not lying.
I didn't say she wouldn't lie.
So who's lying here? It's not Sarah.
It is definitely Sarah. If she said that, yeah, I would remember that.
Just to the point because you're being implicated now. So now it's a lie.
Still body, not ringing any bells.
We just want to get Emma his family's.
Yes. Where did you guys go then with the body? All right, let's get to this part here. Where did you go with the body after it's dismembered? And don't say you don't know. Because
I don't have to say I don't know for that because we didn't do that.
Luckily for investigators, Sarah is giving them all the answers. This, however, is only her first confession, and she will eventually share another that changes everything.
So, you got him cut up, then what happens?
We have to figure out where to put everything.
So where did you say put his belongings? Where did those go? Like his clothes and his...
Just in one of the bags.
Okay, and where did those...
We put those in a bin.
Like a dumpster?
No, like a Tupperware bin.
Oh, okay. And where did that go?
In the back of his car.
Okay.
We were going to drive the car somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And leave it. But the car wouldn't start.
This is the real story about the tow truck. According to Sarah, she and Jenn planned to dispose of Ryan's dismembered body parts, which they'd loaded into the back of Ryan's own car.
And then
While their
it
plan
wouldn't
had been to
start.
abandon the car in a deserted location in Illinois before taking a Greyhound bus back, Ryan's car refused to start after they stopped at a gas station.
Tough timing.
This incident has a horrific new implication. Ryan's remains were still in the back of the car when the vehicle was towed, and Sarah and Jenn then had to move the Tupperware bin full of his dismembered body parts in broad daylight into Sarah's car. They left Ryan's vehicle in the street, where the police eventually towed it away.
We started driving.
This is crazy work.
Trying to get rid of little things at a time.
Along the road, or is there special spots?
In public dumpsters.
So did you dispose of like his limbs in different spots? Okay. Do you know where those spots are?
We just stopped wherever something looked okay.
It seemed like secluded or something like that?
Like couple gas stations. Mostly just public dumpsters. I really don't know.
While Sarah doesn't clarify, they only disposed of Ryan's torso and belongings. The rest of his limbs and head had a different, even more alarming destination.
Here's the thing. You have been holding back this whole time with all of this stuff because I don't think you thought Sarah was going to be honest about it, but she is.
Oh, okay.
So let's do the right thing. And you wanted to do the right thing, right? So tell us about that.
About
please.
What?
About the dismembering it and then where you went from there.
I didn't dismember anybody.
You did.
No, I did not. That's fucking insane.
It's not insane.
That's insane.
This happens all the time. I mean, you may not want to admit to doing it, right? But this stuff happens all the time.
So where was Cory during this?
No idea.
No idea.
Or
Still at the hotel, possibly?
I guess so.
Okay. Any communication with him?
I shut off my phone.
It's got to be somewhat premeditated, right? If like you're dismembering someone immediately after, like I don't know. I imagine there could be a case where you like accidentally in a rage kill somebody and then you panic and you're like, what the f do I do? Well, let's go to the shed, grab a saw and cut them up and, you know, throw the body parts in the back of a jalopy that won't start at the gas station and then carry the Tupperware parts around and throw them out into random spots around Idaho. But it feels like maybe they'd been thinking about it.
Okay.
Why did you shut off your phone?
I was scared.
Okay.
Did he know something had happened?
I don't think so. And I told him Ryan just left. And he didn't ask any questions.
Despite several attempts to get Cory to speak with police, Cory steadfastly refused.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so you don't know Ryan?
I don't.
You don't know Ryan? He didn't live with you at all?
I'm not going to talk to you without
an
attorney present.
We're talking with Sarah and Jenn.
Okay.
Everybody involved that weekend. We're talking.
Cory
right now.
definitely
Except
knew.
you right now, because right now you kind of look like the bad guy. If you don't
No
want to
question.
Talk to us. Everybody else wants to talk to us. That doesn't look good for you.
Yeah, they told me that you would say that, but
Who would say that?
My attorney.
Okay.
Cory refuses to speak any further and ultimately never comes in to discuss Ryan's case with officers. Without Cory's help, detectives will have to put more pressure on the people who are talking to them. Sarah and Jenn. One thing still isn't clear: a motive.
And what happened that you came up behind him and started choking?
He ruined my life.
Tell me a little bit about that.
I mean, I told you the arguments Cory and I had. And I couldn't make him see reason.
The officers talking to Jenn also try to understand a motive.
You would do whatever you could to make Sarah happy. So let's get rid of M, because that would make Sarah happy, right? To get her out of that household.
Sure, but they agreed to leave.
But she wasn't. Not willingly. Not fast enough.
She agreed to leave.
Without meaning to, Jenn points out a glaring issue with Sarah's current confession. If Ryan had agreed to leave, why didn't she simply let that happen? This exact question will be central to the story Sarah tells later.
Did Jenn know that this was going to happen?
No. But she was there for me.
Sure, she's your support, you said.
This girl is an open book, huh?
That's what support people do.
It's a full can of beans.
I'm worried about what's going to happen to her.
I want to understand that.
We understand,
natural.
and we appreciate you talking to us openly.
The detectives have no reason to assume that Sarah means anything more than simply worrying about Jenn. But her concern hints at a disastrous turn of events soon to come.
More?
So what happened? You got him. Something happened to Emma, and you put him in the tub, and you guys did your thing. Fill us in on that, please.
That didn't happen.
She's filling in the gaps where you are not filling in the gaps, though we know that you know what happened, right? Because it's written all over you. I mean, as soon as you get to a hot point, you minimize and you kind of look down. It's like a kid with a parent. I don't want to look and acknowledge that I'm lying to you.
Surprise, I have anxiety.
Yes, classic.
Dismembering it, right? So what happened from there?
Not right.
So Sarah started. Was Sarah dismembering at this point in time?
No.
You were just holding on to the limbs, you're keeping a lookout.
No.
What are you doing?
No.
She's not cutting this body up herself.
That's probably because she didn't cut up a body.
She just admitted to.
No, she didn't.
She did.
Yes, she did.
Okay.
Detectives attempt a different approach to get Jenn to talk.
It's more beneficial to go, this is where it is. And it shows that you're wanting to make things right. You want to get things better.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's no making things right at this point. But like, there's definitely a lot of cases where people ask or like say they want a lawyer, and detectives are probably very good at just like kind of like slyly getting them to continue to talk. Especially, I mean, these two have the emotional IQ of a rutabaga. You know what I mean? Like they're just not. Sarah is clearly emotionally intelligent and just stunted in every way possible. Probably sociopathic, clearly. It's like, squeezing water out of a fish tank. No problem with her. It's spill. I don't know what that even means. I'm making that up. But Jenn seems a little bit like tougher not to crack, but still pretty low IQ.
And you're showing remorse because the judge
I'm
back
not
in our
showing
county.
remorse because I don't know how to process this, and I'm not showing remorse.
It's her anxiety, guys.
So disposing of a body, you shouldn't show remorse for that.
Of course you should. Yeah.
You're still in shock that Sarah has come clean with everything, right?
There's no way she did this.
Your world's crashing down, and I'm trying to help you figure a way to make it a little softer of a crash.
No, you're not.
Though Jenn refuses to believe Sarah admitted to the death and dismemberment of Ryan, Sarah's own interview is already wrapping up.
I just don't know what to do because I thought I had my whole life ahead of me.
Why would you think that?
And I made one mistake.
And that's exactly
now it's over.
Just one tiny little mistake.
Don't cut yourself short. I just turned 30 and I feel like that's
one step at a time. Okay? 1 foot in front of the
That
other.
is true sociopathy when you think that murdering, dismembering, and disposing of a human is just a tiny little mistake. Just a little pebble, a little speed bump in my road of life. I had my whole life ahead of me. I made one tiny little mistake, you psychopath, dude. Whoa.
Continuing to show an unsettling lack of concern for Ryan, Sarah then makes an inquiry.
Is there any kind of bail, or am I going to have to stay there the whole time?
There's not bail right now, but that's not to say that there won't be bail in the future.
No, there's not going to be.
Just not right at the present time.
Sarah is informed that the charges against her include tampering with evidence, grand theft of a motor vehicle, abuse of a corpse, and gross abuse of a corpse.
Okay, I appreciate you being honest with us.
We don't have murder
Just kind of
on that
personal.
list yet.
Thank you, Sarah.
I hope it doesn't.
We'll give you a few moments, okay?
One of the officers who had been interviewing Sarah heads over to Sarah's mom's house in order to take a crack at Jenn and see if he can break through the unrelenting denials.
Take a quick crack at her.
This is where everything goes horribly wrong.
Oh, Jesus.
Where are they?
Calm down,
Though the
Ewu.
video footage is redacted, Jenn is introduced to the detective who spoke with Sarah and is then read the Miranda rights.
Am I being arrested?
Okay, well, we have some things we need to talk to you about.
But you're not saying yes or no.
Well, because it all depends on you. So we're going based on physical evidence and now what Sarah told us. That's my job. I'm doing my job. They're doing their job.
I'm sorry, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, but go ahead.
They said that she said that she was involved.
Absolutely. 100%. And this interview is being recorded.
Okay.
And I cannot lie about that.
I trust you.
She absolutely said she was involved, and she gave details, and you were involved in those details. I mean, I'm not making that shit up.
I don't know how I was involved.
Well, she told us how you were involved, but I don't want to go into those details because if you tell me and something's different, I have to go back and talk to her and try to iron out the inconsistencies.
Hearing that the detective isn't lying about Sarah's confession seems to be a turning point for Jenn, but not in the way they hope.
I don't remember any of that. I don't know why Sarah would say that.
You're just surprised Sarah said it.
Of course I am.
Right, because she'd gotten away from it this whole time until today.
After hours of conversation, the new detective points out something that the others have failed to notice. While speaking with the officers, a purse has remained on Jenn's lap.
What's in your purse?
Feeling comfortable and calm.
After Jenn explains, they quickly move on and continue questioning. This time about the evidence they've uncovered, a choice that will likely haunt the detectives for the rest of their careers.
And we found large quantities of blood in the trunk from Emma. That's a clue. We call them police work. I'm not trying to be facetious, but that's called a clue. So I mean, when we put two and two together,
so we call it a clue.
We talk to Sarah, and it all kind of matches up. You know what I mean? It all matches up.
What's gonna happen to her?
Well, I don't know.
Those
It all
clues
depends on
be
what you
cluing, you know what I mean? Sometimes when there's too many clues, it just becomes a clue polycule. And then there's too many clues, and all of a sudden you get life in prison.
tell me.
To my knowledge, she didn't do anything.
But I'd be more worried about yourself right now
Why?
because of what she's telling us and the physical evidence.
What's in the box? Nice reference.
And the social media search warrants that we did.
I'm not worried about myself.
There's a very good reason Jenn isn't worried. And once again, the purse comes up.
You don't have any, like, weapons in there, do you? What are you playing with in your purse? So, Jenn, like we talked about, you asked if you were under arrest.
Hold the up, dude. Hold up. No way she pulls out a piece and offs herself, right? I don't know. They said something that it's like gonna haunt the detectives for the rest of their life. Hold up a second.
You are going to be placed into custody. I want to, before this gentleman, he's a detective with the City of Marion Police Department. You're going to be booked into their...
Central 055.
055.
I need an ambulance, shots fired.
Oh my God!
How long has her hand been in that? 055 9512. Need you to respond to the scene.
Do we have a victim?
Affirmative.
None of ours, right? We didn't return anything?
Negative. No officer involved.
Just as officers began their arrest, Jenn pulled a small handgun out of the purse and fired. Jenn was pronounced dead at the scene from a single bullet wound to the back of the head.
Holy
is happening back at the police station. Sarah is led away in handcuffs. Unbeknownst to her, Jenn has just died.
You stand up, turn around, and put your handcuffs, okay?
Am I able to use...
I just gotta say, it's just chat saying thanks for saving the taxpayers' money is crazy work. That's crazy work. Whew.
The restroom again before...
Well, when we get over to the jail, I'll let you use the restroom over there, okay?
Okay.
Months after her arrest and Jen's death, Sarah is brought in to share an entirely new version of Ryan's death.
Good morning. How are you doing, Sarah? People here. We didn't want to be rude drinking our coffee in front of you, so we got you one. Feel free.
She was just holding a piece in her purse the whole time, and they're like, what's going on, and what's in your purse? She's like, nothing, just makes me feel comfortable. I'm like, oh yeah, you don't have any weapons in there, do you? She's like, nope. And then blows the back of her head up. Wow, dude. I honestly, I did not see that coming. That one, like when Iwu was like, oh yeah, a decision they'll make that will haunt them for the rest of their lives. I was like, I didn't really know what they were talking about. I was like, and then it dawned on me right when they started focusing on the bag. Whoa!
I mean, if you don't like coffee, then I haven't had coffee for so long. It's a specialty. Okay. It's a Cinnabon, so it's on.
Well, she seems in
After a few
high
more
spirits.
pleasantries, the investigators clarify with Sarah that her lawyers agreed she can speak with them, and they read her Miranda rights. They immediately begin by discussing Sarah's new confession. In this discussion, she refers to Jenn by the name Naira.
On the morning of the 26th,
What?
Naira started voicing some plan about killing him, and I did not take her seriously because she would make comments like that sometimes. I still didn't take her seriously, but I was starting to get worried because of how intricate it was getting.
Wait.
And then when she...
Does Sarah know that Naira game overed herself? Because, like, if she learned that information, now she's like, oh, yeah, now I can just dump everything on her. Like, motive, plan, everything was Naira. And then I'm just like an innocent, like, low agency accomplice, you know? And maybe you get, I don't know, 20 years and then psychiatric help or something, right? Or does she not know that yet? I'm not sure. They might have said it. I'm just still kind of in shock from that.
She started gathering tools like trash bags, bleach, the handsaw from the shed. I realized she was serious. So I tried to talk her out of it, calmly at first, and then I started getting a little hysterical. And she told me that if I didn't help, that she was going to do it anyway.
Really changing her tune
At
here.
this point, the attorneys asked me, well, why did you do it? Why didn't you call the police? Why didn't you kick her out?
Anxiety.
And it was because I loved her. I was so scared and horrified, but there wasn't, like, I didn't stop. I didn't stop her. I didn't.
What was the problem then?
Yeah. She had a rag that she dipped in bleach, and she had a bottle of vinegar next to her to add to it when the time came, because I guess they had some kind of chemical reaction and released some kind of poisonous gas. I don't really know, but she did the research for it.
Though Sarah has significantly shifted the roles that she and Jenn play in
Yeah,
the
no
planning
shit.
and execution of Ryan's death, she still tells detectives that she jumped on him when he came out of the bathroom before Jenn then held the rag over Ryan's mouth.
Chloroform?
The changes in her story only become more apparent as the details grow even more brutal.
When he started making these guttural gasping noises, Naira let me get out from under him, and I curled up in the office and cried. So I stayed in the office for a while until she did get him in the bathtub, and she had put a trash bag over his head and severed it, and then put that into the freezer so that she could deal with it later.
Since her arrest, investigators have discovered chilling evidence about the fate of Ryan's decapitated head,
Still haven't
something
found it.
they'll bring up shortly. In this retelling, rather than Jenn being the one to dispose of Ryan's clothing, it was Sarah who took on this job. However, this doesn't mean she didn't help with the dismemberment.
She started to get intestinal cramps, so she went
tough
to
time
lie
to have a
down
period.
and said I had to take over. So I put the hands in one bag, the hands and the feet she told me to put in a bag, and then she also put it in the freezer for later because she said those would be the two big identifying factors and she would have to deal with them separately. So I removed the forearms and the calves at the joints. It was slow, exhausting work. They did not work fast enough. Her original idea was to cut up everything into as small of manageable pieces as possible and then dispose of them that way, but we didn't have enough time to do that, so we just had the head, the hands and feet, the forearms went in one bag, the calves went in another bag, and then we just had to deal with the torso.
After this, the story remained the same. They loaded Ryan's dismembered body into a Tupperware container and attempted to use Ryan's vehicle until they eventually had to call a tow truck.
This is fucking
The difference
wild
this
work.
time, apparently Jenn was the one telling Sarah where to go as they drove towards Illinois, stopping randomly to dispose of Ryan's remains, including the area where Ryan's torso was eventually discovered in Mercer County, 2 hours from Columbus. The fate of Ryan's head was an entirely different story. Investigators eventually searched the garage at Sarah's mom's house where they found several boxes filled with what appeared to be human remains.
Whoa.
This included a pot filled with a thick substance hidden within layers of plastic garbage bags. After the pot was emptied, investigators recovered a human skull. In this version of her story, Sarah claims it was Jenn who disposed of the remaining limbs.
Also because she did.
Cops make horrific discovery in woman's soup pot. Well played, Iwu. Well played. Good Lord. You don't you watch a movie like Seven, or some of these thrillers we've seen over the past 20, 30 years produced by Hollywood, and they're just gripping, and you never think that people are really capable of this type of thing in real life. I mean, we know they are, obviously. This serial killer's been around for a while, but this story is just it's pretty wild, man. It really is hard to believe people are capable of doing this.
Didn't know the best way to dispose of it yet. So we had to she put it in the soup bin, put that in a bag or several bags, put the pieces of the hands and feet also in the bag, and then kept bagging it up, and we put it in the shed for the time being. And every time we moved, you would have to come with us.
They just kept it.
So that
Just
was
kept it in storage.
a weight that I had to drag with me everywhere I went. For a long time, we would check the news constantly. That's when we found out that the torso was discovered. But as time went on and we didn't see any new news, we started planning for a future instead. And we made a pact that should something go wrong or we get discovered, that she was going to shoot me first, as she said she would rather die than spend her life in prison.
Well, she was not lying. I'll tell you what, she just didn't get a chance to shoot you first, unfortunately.
The arrest came, and when I said goodbye to her, I could see it in her face that she knew.
This confession sheds an entirely new light on the footage of Jenn and Sarah saying goodbye when she was arrested.
You want to tell your wife bye or anything?
You had mentioned the bleach and vinegar on the ring. Okay. And then mentioned something different was put into the pot?
Lye, some kind of lye mixture.
Okay. And is that something you would have had on hand, or did she go out and purchase?
That she did purchase. The head in the freezer didn't draw any attention because she had packed like vegetables and stuff in front of it, so it didn't look like it was anything.
This is a horrifying detail. While Cory was still living in the house, Ryan's decapitated head was in the home, hidden just out of sight behind some frozen vegetables. The detectives take a quick break before returning to clarify a few more details, including the comment investigators initially made to Jenn during her interview about Sarah painting with blood.
So art for me is a coping mechanism. And I know that Randy and Eric had mentioned that there were two pieces in particular that gave people red flags. One was a painting of a sheep with that was done in blood, or some of it. That piece I had done prior to ever knowing about Ryan. That was a coping mechanism for everything that I'd been through with Cory.
Sarah posted this drawing to her illustration Facebook page in June 2015, titling it Sacrificial Lamb. Though she created it a few months before meeting Ryan, it eerily depicted the lamb dismembered and decapitated.
The other one
bit of foreshadowing
was
there.
A mermaid holding a human head, and I know that people thought, or at least I heard, that this was like showing like, look what I did.
What Sarah doesn't mention is that she titled this drawing, Till Death Do Us Part.
But that was also a coping mechanism, having to drag that around with me everywhere we moved.
During the interview, Sarah also doodled a quick drawing of the saw they used to dismember Ryan.
Nice little hacksaw.
The elusive motive still needs to be clarified, and so detectives ask the haunting question of why Sarah and Jenn didn't simply let Ryan leave the apartment as planned.
And the thing she said was along the lines of, someone like that doesn't deserve to be out in the world to ruin someone else's life. So I think in some perverse way it was her idea that I don't want to go so far as to say she was dealing out justice, but
justice.
She just felt very strongly that he didn't deserve to be out there. She said that if you want to transition, your goal is to just fit in. And that's what she tried to do. She didn't point out anything. She tried to be as feminine as possible because that's what she wanted to be.
Trans jealousy.
And so with people like Ryan, who say that they're transitioning but are not really making the effort, really bothered her. She more commonly said things like, he's a disgusting human being, or the world would be better off without him.
Wow.
So that's why the fact that Ryan wanted to, but still look.
He just wasn't taking being trans seriously enough for Naira. That is a transgression met with a swift death.
And acted male, just really got under her skin.
With this allegation in mind, investigators question why Sarah confessed to the crime initially.
You said you were trying to protect Jenn. I guess, why try to protect her at that point in time?
Yeah, that's what I thought about in hindsight. It would have devastated me to have to throw her under the bus and say, well, she was the one who did it. I guess there was a small part of me that thought if I took the fall for her, she would be okay. But thinking back now, I should have known with the look on her face that there was no point trying to protect her. She was going to do it anyway, with me or without me.
As the interview wraps up, Sarah clarifies why she wanted to speak with the investigators again.
I don't know if the prosecution knows how much detail about Naira. So I'm basically just hoping that at the sentencing, essentially the same thing that I told both of you, just condensed a little bit, we'll be able to go on the record so that my side of the story and what actually happened will be out.
In the end, Sarah's new version of Ryan's death did little to change her fate.
Yeah.
In January 2022, Sarah Buzzard pled guilty and appeared in Mercer County Common Pleas Court for sentencing. She was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 30 years. Warren, Ryan's father, had the last word.
I just know now that, no one can hurt him anymore, and no one can hurt him now.
Jesus. What an ending. Wow, that was a lot. That's a lot to process. That last 20 minutes, man. I made one mistake and now my life is over. Yeah, murder tends to have consequences. Yeah, that was an interesting point, kind of a turning point where she just completely unaware, no self-awareness of what had happened. And almost like this self-loathing of like, oh, it was such a burden, it was just such a burden to have to carry around his head and his body parts. So I had to draw to cope with it. Yeah. I feel so bad for you. That must have been so tough. Enjoy your weekend. If I don't see you, this will be up on Saturday, and then we'll be back next Thursday, and a couple videos in the meantime. You guys have a great rest of the night. I love you. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you more than you know. Talk to you soon.